Imagine waking up one morning and realizing nothing in your life is working. Your goals feel distant, your energy is drained, you're stuck physically, emotionally, financially. Now pause. What if I told you that you didn't end up there because of some big catastrophic failure, but because of the small, seemingly harmless choices you made every single day? The snoozed alarms, the skipped workouts, the I'll do it tomorrow. That is what built the cage you're sitting in. Success doesn't come from one massive heroic act. It's not a lightning strike. It's a habit. It's the result of what you do consistently, not occasionally. And the scary part, that consistency, it's happening whether you're aware of it or not. You're training yourself every day. The question is, are you training yourself for greatness or mediocrity? See, people love to talk about willpower, motivation, drive. But what shapes your destiny isn't what you do once when you're pumped up after a video or a seminar. It's what you do when no one's watching. It's how you talk to yourself in the mirror. It's the standard you hold yourself to when quitting would be easier. Your habits. Those automatic patterns are the software running your life. And if that software is infected with laziness, doubt, fear, then don't be surprised when the output is frustration, regret, and stagnation. You want to change your life? Then change your habits. Because success doesn't respond to wishes. It responds to discipline, ritual, repetition. Every champion you've ever admired, every icon, every leader, every billionaire, they didn't get there by chance. They built a system. They made success non-negotiable by engineering it into their day. Ask yourself right now, what are the rituals that dominate your life? Are they moving you forward or keeping you small? Because if your daily actions are in conflict with your goals, then I promise you your habits will win. Every single time. You can't escape this. The truth is you already have habits. You already have a routine. The only question is, do they serve the future you're chasing or do they sabotage it? Because the life you're living right now, it's not your potential. It's your habits made visible. Want a better life? Build better habits. This is not about being perfect. It's about being relentless. You fall. You get back up. You get lazy. You snap out of it. You stop waiting for motivation to show up like some magical muse and you realize it's not coming. You are the source. You are the engine. You are the standard. And once you shift your identity to match that truth, success stops being a fantasy and starts becoming your lifestyle. This is not a game. It's your life. And every habit is a vote for the person you are becoming. So cast your votes wisely. Because one day your results will be your story, and the world will read it whether you like it or not. Make it a story worth telling. You wake up and you think today's gonna be different. You say, this is it. Today I'm going to start. But by the end of the day, nothing changed. Why? Because it's not about what you hope to do. It's not about the promises you make to yourself in the morning. It's about the patterns that own you when you're tired, when you're stressed, when you're alone. People think their life is off track because of one bad decision or one missed opportunity. No, the truth, it's the dozens of tiny decisions, the ones that feel meaningless in the moment, that determine everything. You hit snooze once, no big deal. You skip the workout, just for today. You scroll instead of reading. You react instead of planning. And suddenly, you're building a life you never asked for. And here's the kicker, it's happening in silence. No fireworks, no warnings, no sirens, just small, quiet decisions made over and over, until one day you wake up and wonder how you drifted so far from the life you wanted. Success isn't lost in a loud crash. It leaks away, drop by drop, through your habits. But here's the beautiful flip side. The same way you can drift into failure, you can climb into success. One powerful choice at a time, one aligned action, one habit that reflects your highest standard instead of your lowest excuse. That's the compound effect. You don't see the reward right away, but if you stay consistent, the world won't be able to ignore you. The life you want doesn't come from what you do once. It comes from what you repeat. People wait around for motivation like it's some kind of miracle drug. When I feel ready, then I'll start. Let me tell you something. Motivation is a liar. It shows up when things are easy, when the sun's shining, when the music's playing and life feels good. But what about when it's dark, when no one's clapping for you, when you're exhausted, overwhelmed, and tempted to slip back into comfort? That's where most people fold, because they built their life on feelings instead of standards. You don't rise to the level of your motivation. You fall to the level of your systems. That's why habits are everything. They don't care if you're tired. They don't ask if you're in the mood. They They just run. You've got to build habits so strong, so locked into your identity, that they fire off no matter what. Discipline isn't about feeling good. It's about doing what needs to be done even when you feel like trash. Because your future doesn't care how you feel today. It only responds to what you do. When you train yourself to act without negotiation, without that little mental debate, you win. You don't think, you execute. Motivation fades, habits last. Champions aren't born from perfect conditions. They're created in the repetition, when the gym is cold, when the alarm hits at 5 a.m., when no one's watching and the results aren't in yet. That's where success is forged, not in the hype, in the habit. Look around at your life right now. Your relationships, your health, your income, your energy. That's not your potential. That's not what you could be. That is simply a mirror of your habits. You don't need to guess what kind of person you are becoming. Just look at what you do consistently. What do you do when you wake up? What do you eat? What do you say to yourself when things get hard? These aren't just behaviors, they're bricks. And every single day you're laying another one in the foundation of your future. People say, I want a better life. Great. But your habits? They don't match that vision. You can't plant weeds and expect roses to grow. You can't live out patterns of procrastination, negativity, distraction, and expect to harvest success, focus, and joy. The results you're living with right now are the byproduct of the systems you've built, consciously or unconsciously. You don't get what you wish for. You get what you tolerate. You get what you repeat. If you want to upgrade your life, you've got to stop negotiating with your habits like they're optional. They're not optional. They're defining. Your rituals are your results in disguise. And until you take radical ownership of that truth, you will keep blaming circumstances for what your habits have created. Change the pattern, change the product, change the habit, change the life. Change the life. Every high performer you admire, every athlete, entrepreneur, leader, they don't rely on luck. They don't wake up and wing it. They operate by ritual. There's a rhythm to their day, a structure to their success, and it's not accidental, it's engineered. Because when you build powerful routines, you eliminate decision fatigue. You stop wondering what to do next and start executing on autopilot. That's where the magic is, not in hype, not in motivation, but in the predictability of your process. You want success to be predictable? Then your habits have to be predictable. You don't rise to greatness with random effort. You rise with a system. When you lock in a morning routine that sets your mind on fire, when your diet fuels your energy instead of draining it, when your calendar reflects your priorities instead of distractions, that's when results become inevitable. Not because you're better than anyone else, but because you're more intentional. People think rituals are restrictive. No, they are liberating. Because when the foundation is solid, you can grow bigger, move faster, go further. Rituals are what allow you to execute at a high level no matter what's going on around you. Storm outside, chaos at work, doesn't matter. You've got anchors. You've got systems that keep you locked in, focused, powerful. And over time, that consistency compounds into momentum. And momentum is the ultimate unfair advantage. Most people drift through life like a leaf in the wind, tossed around by whatever feels good in the moment, never stopping to ask, are my habits even mine? You think you're making choices, but in reality, your environment, your past, your fears, they're making them for you. And if you don't take control, if you don't consciously design your habits, then you will unconsciously repeat patterns that keep you stuck, small, and frustrated. You've got to take the wheel. You've got to stop living on autopilot and start architecting your days like your life depends on it. Because it does. You want to build confidence. Stack habits that prove to yourself you follow through. You want financial freedom? You want financial freedom? Build money habits that create wealth instead of leak it. You want energy? Create routines that fuel your body like it's your most powerful asset, because it is. This isn't about adding more willpower. This is about strategy. Most people are fighting uphill battles because they've built lives that work against them. You don't need more hustle. You need alignment. You need to build habits that pull you toward your goals instead of ones you have to fight every single day. And that starts with intention. Start designing your life like an engineer, not a gambler. Stop hoping and start building, because nothing changes until your habits do. Change doesn't start with action. It starts with identity. You can force a new habit for a while, maybe even a few weeks, But if deep down you still see yourself as lazy, undisciplined, or a not that kind of person, you'll sabotage your own progress. The moment things get hard, the old version of you takes the wheel and pulls you right back into the comfort zone. That's why real transformation doesn't just require discipline. It requires a shift in who you believe you are. You've got to decide right now that you are the kind of person who shows up, who follows through, who finishes what they start. Not just when it's convenient. Not just when it's easy. But when it's brutal. When it's brutal. When it's boring. When no one's clapping for you, that's when your identity gets forged. And when your identity is unshakable, your habits follow effortlessly. Because you're no longer trying to act a certain way. You're just being who you are. Discipline isn't punishment. It's freedom. It's saying, I'm not going to be a slave to my impulses. I'm not going to let fear, doubt, or weakness decide how I live. You make the hard choice now so you can live an extraordinary life later. You show up for yourself every day. Not because you feel like it, but because that's who you are. That's your standard. And the more you reinforce that identity through action, the stronger it gets, until one day the habits that used to feel hard become automatic, unshakable, non-negotiable, non-negotiable.